Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of 24 Frames Per Second with Balabanos and James. I'm Balabanos, he's James. Peter screened a film he was in for me that I had not yet seen, and I'm still processing all of it.
Sure, yeah.
Such a waste of humanity that you are. Just putting yourself in front of a camera is
Isn't he
ridiculous.
the sweetest guy in
I'm
the
so
world?
nice. We're really close.
Piece of garbage.
Little caca. This is how I'm gonna start this, okay?
All right, absolutely. Go ahead.
I watched the trailer. That made me think of you in the shower. Not in that order. I mean, I watched the trailer, then I was in the shower, and then it made me, I'm like, yeah, that's a Peter movie.
Okay.
And it was, I don't know if there was a the at the beginning. Was it The Last or just Last? Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Yeah, the last voyage of
The last, I'm like, ooh, monster. This is up my alley. Like, what is this? It's horror that I can get behind. Because there's no monsters. I'm not scared of monsters, right?
Sure.
And I watched it, and I went from very excited. Like, the premise was awesome. A ship in the turn of the 19th century.
The title didn't give it away for you? You didn't understand the reference?
No.
Okay, because if you read, the last voyage of the Demeter is the ship that brought Dracula to England, and it is a single chapter in Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's like because the book is written in an epistolary way where it's all like diary entries. So that's like that chapter is the ship's
I have
log.
not read.
Is the Demeter. That's the ship.
I've never read the Bram
So
Stoker's Dracula. Like, I've never read the actual book. I've seen every movie made based on it, but I've never actually read it.
Well, not anymore. No, you can't say that because you haven't seen this one. And this is...
Well, this one just came out.
Right, yeah. But I'm
I mean, Dracula in general, like the Dracula...
Sure.
The lore. Do we need to plug anything before we get going?
I mean, we could plug things for fun.
No, I mean, like, anything we need to let people know? Oh, yeah, we have an Instagram account now. Which you can see back there in this very snazzy thing I made here. I don't know if it's... you know what? There's a good chance that anyone watching this can't see it because it's overexposed. I'm not sure. We'll find out after. I'll try and fix it. Throw an ND in there. I don't know. What did you...
be at so people know?
It's at 24FPS Pod, where we'll be sharing clips of these long format episodes. I mean, I don't think I need to explain to people what we're going to do on the Instagram. It's pretty obvious.
Watching, so yeah.
But yeah, so I watched the trailer for Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Yes.
And it starts, I mean, at the beginning I was there for it. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And then I heard them say it's Dracula. I was like, oh no, I don't want it to be Dracula.
So until this light bulb moment where you just kind of remembered that it was Dracula, you thought they just shoehorned Dracula into a ship's...
Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's Dracula. It couldn't be like a random... Because after coming off of...
oh, that's awesome.
what was it called? Midnight Mass.
Right.
No spoilers, even though if you're smart, I just did spoil it. I was like, all right, cool. Demon monster thing, angel. And then I was like, oh, it's Dracula. But now that I know it's that, and it's part of like that IP, I think I can forgive it, but it didn't look good. Like, I didn't watch it and I was like, I can't wait to see this.
Look, I haven't seen it. I haven't heard... Look, I didn't hear it was bad, but I didn't hear it was good either. So make of that what you will. It's there.
Okay. I mean, it's out-ish. Is it out?
Well, so it hit theaters about a month ago and just got a digital release. So anybody who...
Oh, straight to Digital?
Not straight to Digital.
Oh, I got a theater release. No, you just said that. I just stopped listening.
Nowadays, the window for a lot of productions, depending on which studio, can be as short as... Some of them are as short as 20 days. Like...
Yeah, I was talking to... Who was I talking to about this? I think I was talking to my kid about this, actually. She's like, what movie was it? Let's say it was Barbie because I don't remember what it was. It's not, though. It's something that hasn't come out yet, and she's like really waiting to see it.
Okay.
If something comes to mind, throw it out there. She's like, when can I watch this? I was like, well, it's not out yet. But when will it be out? I'm like, well, look, it has to go to the theaters first, and then it's at our house. I'm like, well, no, it's going to go to the theaters for a bit. How long? Like, just like...
Okay, so explaining that
like
window.
I need this movie.
Okay, all right.
Stick it in my vein, and I was like, look, 2-3 weeks, and then it'll maybe a week. It'll go by where it's nowhere, and then it'll come straight to video. She's like, that's so long. I'm like, are you joking? I had to wait.
Yeah.
If like, I'm trying to think of a good example.
Well, we're from the VHS era, so
the VHS era was a different time in the history of the world, where something would go into a theatrical release for what 2-3 months maybe.
Yeah,
right?
sometimes longer.
And then the window where it just didn't exist anymore, like it wasn't in theaters and it wasn't at home, was like what, a year?
We're also part of a generation that got a phenomenon. Do you remember when Titanic came out? So Titanic was in theaters for well over a year.
Was it?
Yeah. Titanic was
made
in theaters for
bank, though.
well over a year. And this was again at a time where DVD hadn't started yet. Movies were, they had their extended theatrical.
Yeah, for sure.
presentation. That was the only way to see a new
What was
movie.
the average runtime? Like, I can't remember at all. I'm sure it's something you probably know for some reason because you.
Oh, sometimes it could have been 6 months to a year. Sometimes
6 months to a year.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, let's pick a random movie like Die Hard 3.
So Die Hard with a Vengeance would have come out in 1995, and I don't think anybody would have been able to get their hands on a
97.
VHS copy till maybe like 96, 97.
But what was the logic there? Was it simply like, as my understanding was that converting 35 millimeter film stock to VHS was a lengthy process.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the 90s,
it was.
because there was a lot of pan and scan happening. They had to account, especially in the late 90s, they had to account for a lot of different aspect ratios. That's why you watch movies in a theater.
Yeah.
And then you would watch it on your like cathode ray TV. I don't know if anyone's old enough to remember those.
And then you had
And you're like, where's the rest of the scene? Like
you had also
Darkman. Darkman was one of those movies where I remember seeing it in the theaters.
Darkman in the theater.
Yeah, Darkman in the
for you.
theater.
Good for
at the
you.
Dollar Cinema at DeCarry Square, like maybe a year or two after. A few years after it had come out. It was like
Yeah,
you know how this place used to work.
Yeah.
They used to find like they would buy old used film prints that were kind of damaged, and they'd screen it for $1.
Yeah.
And you get $1, and then another $1 for popcorn, and like 25 cents. I feel like a really old man right now.
No, but
for
isn't it-
$3 and a nickel, I used to see a picture.
Isn't it fucking crazy though? That
What?
that used to be like, all right, here it's like $1 and whatever. Nowadays, the thought, especially for film lovers, the thought of being able to go to a cinema to see an older film, and they do these throwback screenings and stuff. It's like it's expensive, and it's something people look forward
Yeah,
to.
but
at least
these are new prints though. These were like what you're in the situation that you're talking about getting new prints for a release. Like they did it with Back to the Future. Right
no,
before.
that was their whole Blu-ray thing. So Cineplex was screening
right.
all older films as
On
part of
Blu-ray?
their- Yeah, well, I mean, it was a Blu-ray rip or something. I don't know what it was, but
So they weren't running it through a
They
print.
weren't running the original 35 mil print. No, that was yeah. And I had a lot.
I didn't know that because I went and I saw.
Well, I got
to
to
the
see
Future.
Back to the Future. I got to see Die Hard. I got to see Fight Club. I got to see Alien. I got to see Aliens. I got to see.
There's this place.
Sure, some other
Do you
ones.
remember we had gone to see? I don't know if it was with you. I had gone to see The Fortunate Son, a great documentary by a friend of mine.
That was not
Tony.
with me, but yeah.
What is that place called? Inside, it all looks like
Saint Denis, the
not on Saint Denis. Okay, let's work backwards through my brain for a second. Okay.
take me on this.
15 years ago, 12 years ago, it's an animated film called Hugo.
Yeah,
and it's
Hugo's not an animated film. Hugo's a 3D film by Martin Scorsese.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, a 3D film.
Yeah, it was like
not animated.
No, shot in 3D
You're absolutely right.
by Martin Scorsese.
And it's based on that.
Excellent film, by the way.
Excellent film. It had no business being as good as it was. Hugo. If you haven't seen Hugo, you should definitely see Hugo, especially if you're a cinephile. So Hugo takes place in the turn of the 1900s, the beginning of the 1900s.
Yeah.
When were the Lumiere brothers around?
Yeah, right around there. Like,
Right. So what I didn't know about Hugo is the world it was set in.
Okay.
So whatever that world is, because I can't remember the name right now, that 19th century. It's not steampunk. I keep wanting to say steampunk, but it's not at all.
Steampunk's not.
It's not steampunk. But it's what steampunk is based off of in its.
Well, I mean,
purest form.
an alternate timeline for that time period.
So it's like post-industrial revolution, beginnings of cinema, moving pictures have started. Like we've left from what were those things called? With the horse.
I don't know what you're
they
doing right
they,
now.
they used to spin. Rotoscopes, not
yeah,
rotoscopes.
no, not. I know what you're talking.
Yeah,
about.
yeah. So it's like that period in history of cinema, and that's kind of what this place looked like inside.
Okay. Yeah.
That was me going backwards through my brain. It was a theater on
this
Saint Laurent. I think it's the Cinémathèque Québécoise next door.
It's possible.
And then right next to it, there was a theater, and it was all, gears, and it had that Hugo vibe.
Well, the Imperial isn't far from something. It's
not the Imperial.
That's not what you're talking about.
But this place also had like a venue with a restaurant. I don't think it exists.
Cinéma Moderne. Yes.
Cinéma Moderne, that's
Cinéma
right.
Moderne. Yeah, it's a small one screening.
No. I know Cinéma Moderne, also a really cool place, but not at all what we're talking about.
I'm gonna sidetrack us here. I saw Heat 35 millimeter print.
At Cinema Moderne?
Cinema Moderne
pretty
about
awesome.
a year ago.
Yeah, I remember you telling me.
Excellent sound. That
Yeah?
bank heist scene was definitely
Interesting.
It was awesome. I can't remember where this theater is, this imaginary place that you.
No, it's not I think it's the Cinémathèque Québécoise. I can't remember. I will check at some point. Maybe I'll throw it in the comments so for people who are wondering. Or for the ones of you saying the name and just waiting for me to say it.
Sure.
It's not going to come to me. I saw Blade Runner there.
Oh.
The director's cut with the voiceover. Like the narration. Not the voiceover.
Yeah.
Like the film noir narration.
Yeah.
And it was a spectacular experience. Like, it was an original 35 millimeter print, not a redone, not a rescaled, not a reprinted. It was one of the original prints. They had brought it from, I forget where, somewhere in the States, some like archive, and it was like 2 nights only. And I was like, I have to see this. And I had never seen.
For those of you that don't know, so I'm wearing this Batman T-shirt because Phil had
none of his clothes
gall to disparage Batman.
I didn't
in our
disparage
previous episode.
Batman.
I'm actually going to wear this for the next episode
hold on.
as well. Hold on.
I didn't disparage Batman. I just spoke truth about Batman because Batman is not fighting for me. He's not my Batman.
Trash.
Oh, my parents are dead.
You're garbage for disparaging.
I love Batman. Just for the record, I absolutely love Batman. I think he's one of the
Well, the way
quintessential characters of Western.
the way I love Batman and the way I love the Batman cinematic universe, Phil feels that way and maybe a little bit more about Ridley Scott's Blade Runner.
And by extension, Alien, because they take place in the same universe.
Yeah, okay.
And Prometheus. Prometheus is not a good movie.
Prometheus is an underrated film.
It is, but it's not what it could have been. I you know what? Look, I'll say this. I love Prometheus. Like, I watched it last week for fun. I just put it on. I was like, yeah. And I love the alternate opener. I don't know if you've ever seen the alternate opener.
No.
You know, at the beginning of the film, like the opening, the cold open of the film, you have the engineer. He comes to the edge. He drinks that black goop, and he starts to disintegrate. That
into the
DNA
water.
goes
Yeah.
into the water, whatever. There's an alternate, which is a little bit longer, where you get to see the mothership leaving, and you get to see. It's much more gory. You see him come apart.
All right.
It's interesting. But that being said, it should have been a better movie.
Does it add anything to it, or it's just an
It adds
extended
it adds a bit of backstory to the engineers. Like it's not just like a one-off. This guy comes and then that's it. It like gives it a bit more.
Okay.
There's a bit more gravitas to the scene. I
Okay.
would say. It's not better because the original one isn't great. It's just more. I mean, it's more interesting. And visually, there's some better effects too in the water when all the DNA is splitting and the atoms and all
Okay.
that shit. But the Prometheus should have been like the greatest movie ever made. It should have been, but it wasn't. It just wasn't.
So then how do you feel about Covenant?
I haven't seen Covenant. I was too sad after Prometheus, even though I like Prometheus. I'm saying it.
Okay.
It's right up my alley. But I
You understand Covenant is a direct sequel to Prometheus.
I understand. I just couldn't do it. I was like, I'm not ready. Maybe one day I'll do it.
So, my opinion, I liked Prometheus a lot. Mm-hmm. I could care less about Covenant. I know I recently read that Ridley Scott he's disappointed himself because he would have had an opportunity to make Blade Runner 2049
Okay.
and chose to make Covenant instead.
You probably should have made Blade Runner
Yeah,
2040.
he regrets that. But now, here's where it gets cool. Do you know who Fede Alvarez is?
No.
Have you seen?
Should I?
Have you seen not
Filmmaker
The Evil
or
Dead?
film actor?
Filmmaker.
Okay, no, I don't know.
Evil Dead that came out about maybe
I haven't
10
seen
years
Evil Dead.
ago.
I know what it is, but I
Okay.
haven't seen it.
So
Again, because I love the original franchise so much.
no,
I'm
it's
scared
awesome.
to...
I'm telling you, Fede does a good job.
Seems scary.
Sissy.
You can't say that anymore.
Well, I can say it to you. I don't mean it in any kind of.
Cancelled. Yeah, canceled, bro.
So Fede Alvarez is tackling the Alien franchise.
Really?
Yeah, he's got an Alien
So look,
coming out.
Evil Dead seemed very scary from the trailers. I was like, well done, but not for me. Thank you. You won't get me this time.
Sure.
Because I think Evil Dead 3 Army of Darkness is the first time I ever saw comedy and horror mixed.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was young and I shouldn't have been watching that movie. I was too young. I must have been like nine
Yeah,
years old.
we were.
I remember watching it with my dad and my godfather in the dark basement, and my godbrother crying. He was like 2 years younger. I don't know what the monsters. And I was like, man up. And I was like about to shit myself. But that movie like stayed with me for my whole life.
Yeah.
That movie introduced me to Sam Raimi. I was like,
seen the alternate endings and stuff?
I've seen everything. I've seen everything. I even watched Ash vs. Evil Dead, which is not a good show. Not a good series. It's
liked
good
it.
for me.
Yeah.
But objectively, standalone, it's trash.
Can that series is clearly fan service.
Yeah. I mean, it's Bruce Campbell fan
that's-
service. It's not even Evil Dead
Sure,
fan service.
but
It's
that's
Bruce
fine.
Campbell.
That's fine.
Groovy.
That's fine. That's fine.
But what was my point? How do we get down this rabbit hole?
We're talking about Fede Alvarez doing Evil Dead.
Yeah,
and
so
how he's doing Alien.
that seems great. But Alien, for me, it was never about the horror. Alien.
Well, again, I don't know that. Look,
It's a horror film.
nothing has come out yet in terms of trailers or anything. So I'm looking forward to it just based on the fact that that's a solid filmmaker tackling an IP that needs a refresh. Yeah, but
Does it though?
Desperately needs a refresh.
Look, we're gonna disagree here
continue it.
because I think we have fallen into the trap of trying to refresh too many things.
Well, listen,
They're not making anything new in terms of creatures.
that's not what I'm saying. Well, Prometheus tried.
No. I mean, let's leave these universes. Let's do new stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Like,
a whole
I know
different
it's a safe bank.
That's a whole different argument.
Yeah, that's the argument I'm making. I mean, it's safe to bank on existing IP, and you know it's going to make its money back. People are going to come out to see it. Oh, I can't wait. And people are going to hate it also, even if it's good, because you're touching something from their childhood. That came out weird. But people are, so like the hate that it's going to get is good marketing. So I understand why they do it, why studios want to go this route. But let's make new shit.
So let me ask you, by extension, should every IP just be abandoned then? Like every known IP? Because
Maybe for a few years, yeah. Like, I don't need to see Arnold dying again.
Went so high there.
I know, bro. It happens.
Okay, well, they just need to hit the pause button on Marvel, hit the pause button on Star Wars.
Honestly, Marvel, probably they should hit the pause button.
Okay.
I tried to watch...
Guardians?
No, I haven't seen Guardians yet.
Ant-Man.
I tried to... Ant-Man was a hot garbage mess, but it was enjoyable. Like, it was fun to watch. I tried to watch Secret Invasion.
Oh, so why am we hearing terrible things? I haven't touched it yet.
You know I love slow-paced storytelling.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay with a slow burn. Bro, the candle went out 3 times in the pilot. Like, also, Samuel L. Jackson, it feels like he's being held at gunpoint to do this role at this point. Like, you know, Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be there. You can feel it. And you're like, okay, so let's for a second pull ourselves out of the universe of Marvel and say that this is just a fucking spy espionage
Like thriller.
standalone miniseries, okay? It's fucking Jack Ryan with aliens. I can believe that.
I like that, actually.
I like that as an idea.
I would watch that.
But don't also expect me to be so well versed in things that happened in some of the worst Marvel properties, like Captain Marvel, the first Captain Marvel.
Yeah, not a good movie.
And expect me to remember these like tiny subplots from Captain Marvel so that I can know what's going on. Give me a refresher. Give me some context. Sure, they do it a bit in like the 3rd and 4th, but by then I don't give a shit.
Okay,
Like,
yeah, by then you're,
Anna
like,
looked
done.
at me and she's like, look, can we, like, we're sitting down to watch TV at night. She's like, can we not keep watching Secret? I'm like, thank God. No, I can't. I can't watch it anymore.
That takes a lot. I know Anna. That takes a lot.
Anna,
for her to, like,
Anna will
stop.
finish
Yeah.
the worst things just to finish. She's like, I just can't do it.
Yeah, you got to see it to the
It's
end.
so
yeah.
bad.
Shit. Okay. So
It was,
that's
and
so
like
good.
Captain Marvel was not a great film, but Miss Marvel, which got a lot of fucking negative press and a lot of shitting on.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy. Look, I was not the target demographic for that show. I'm not a Pakistani teenage girl going through Pakistani teenage girl problems, but I come from immigrant stock, so it was relatable.
Okay.
Right? Because Miss Marvel is not a Marvel show. It's a Pakistani war epic.
Okay.
It's super interesting. When it like in its main timeline, it's like whatever. Okay, she's a hero now, yay! But when it starts going into these like scenes from her personal history, her family history, where you're seeing like the partition of India into India and Pakistan and all that, I'm like, oh, this is super
So that's
interesting.
where it thrives. Like a
That's where it
historical
thrives.
epic
It's a
almost.
historical
Okay,
epic.
all right.
And then it comes back to these like very Gen Z jokes, and you're like, okay, it's not for me. So I didn't hate it. So it takes a lot for me to hate something. I hated fucking Secret Invasion. I couldn't watch it. It's unwatchable. It's unwatchable.
All right.
Possibly Samuel L. Jackson's worst film. It's not a film, but his worst role that he's ever done.
Saying a lot.
It is saying a lot.
Wow.
Name some other classic Sam Jackson no-nos.
I'd rather not. I don't want to give
Do
him
it.
the attention. I don't want to give him the attention. that they
Snackis
need.
on a planet.
The Cleaner. The Cleaner was bad.
The Cleaner is Oscar-worthy compared to this.
Okay. And that's not me wanting to shit on Rennie Harlan.
And I like Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah,
You know
I
what's
love-
underrated? Ptolemy. What's that series called?
Oh, right. I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, it was a series on Apple.
Yeah, Ptolemy Jones.
Something, Ptolemy something.
Ptolemy
I can't
something.
remember now. Yeah,
But he's phenomenal. The show itself is fine. He is phenomenal in that.
with the right material, Sam Jackson is...
No, it's not about material with Sam Jackson. It's about the director with Sam Jackson, because the material is always the same for Sam Jackson. They just give him stuff and he says what he wants.
That's not material. That's what I'm trying to say. Is that's the material. Is like if they give him the same thing, you're going to get the same thing. But when someone challenges,
you don't always get the same thing. And challenging him is the director, not the material.
Argue.
And there's some great one-liners in Ptolemy, whatever it was called. I can't remember his last name right now. Yeah, look it up. It's bothering me. He mumbles his consonants.
The Last Days of Ptolemy Gray.
Gray. The Last Days of Ptolemy Gray. Great miniseries.
Yeah.
I think it was a miniseries, right?
Yeah, it was a standalone miniseries.
Apple's had some nice standalone miniseries.
Yeah, Apple hasn't really missed a lot.
They've, well, there was the one with Chris Evans, which for the life of me, I don't know what it was called.
Defending Jacob.
I left that really fucked up. I was like, well, what did I just watch? Like, why is Captain America a piece of shit? I was like, this is great. Like,
Again, another actor when given the right material. Look at Knives Out. Look at Knives Out.
I haven't seen Knives Out.
Oh man,
I've only seen what's the first one called?
No, the second one's Glass Onion.
Oh, so I've seen Knives Out.
Okay, so Chris Evans, he's the
yes, he's amazing.
He's
or the other one that he
as
did
an
with
awful
the what are their brothers' names there? The Marvel brothers?
the Hemsworths.
No, the directors.
Oh,
I can't remember their names right now.
The Russos.
The Russos.
The Gray Man.
The Gray Man. He's phenomenal in The Gray Man.
Fantastic in
The Gray Man is a great movie.
Yeah, Gray Man's a good action.
But then
film,
he made the other one with Ana de Armas, which title escapes me at the moment.
Ghosted. See, talk about a movie that is borderline unwatchable. That's an Apple miss. Ghosted
Is
for
that,
me.
Is that an?
Yeah,
That's
it's
not
an
an
Apple. It's an
Apple
Apple
movie. It's a
original.
Netflix original.
Apple original.
Really?
I promise you right now.
Ghosted is whatever. I mean, it's a forgettable film.
If you want to know,
she's hot, so you can watch it.
If you prompted AI to say,
yes,
write this film while watching the writers who are arguably great writers. They've written Deadpool. They wrote Zombieland. These are some of the funnier films. But if you churned those movies through AI,
that's
to
what
pick up the dialogue and then try to make
its own movie,
you would get Ghosted.
It has some nice, funny scenes.
Yeah, but on paper, I mean, guys, follow me through this. On paper, this is a film directed by Dexter,
whatever.
I can't remember his last name. Fletcher, Dexter Fletcher, who's an actor turned director. He's the guy who did Rocket Man. All right, the Elton John film.
Old Dex Flex.
Awesome movie.
Got it. Yeah,
he also took over Bohemian Rhapsody from Bryan Singer when that whole shit happened. So someone who's got some power behind the camera. You put arguably two incredibly, hot, like in the moment stars,
Pretty
Chris
people.
Evans, and obviously objectively attractive people, but I mean like hot stars right now, Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, who have chemistry because they've appeared in a few films together.
Yeah, but there's no chemistry here at all.
And on a script from some of the most sought after writers in Hollywood right now, flipping the gender...
Yeah, the gender norm where she's the superhero.
Yeah,
he's
you know what I mean?
Just a regular Joe.
And I'm like, okay, I'm there for it because on paper, all this suggests a hit.
You know what it is?
Barely finish it.
On paper, it's perfect probably. And then you probably read the script. It's literally a series of tropes. Like it's a series of tropes, one after
the
another.
other.
And even their cute meat is like
meat cute.
Cute meat. He's got some cute meat, bro. Even their meet cute is just, it's so tropey, but it's not self-aware at all. That's the issue. If it was self-aware, you'd say, okay, I see what you're trying to do. Maybe it fails, maybe it doesn't.
No, exactly.
But it's not.
If it was really trying to subvert, but it's really just leans into it.
This will make us money. Let's make it.
You know what bums me out is I swore this podcast wouldn't be about us reviewing.
We're not reviewing anything.
You had mentioned Secret Invasion as something unwatchable, and then when we started talking about Ghosted, that's where it clicked. That's the last thing to me that I saw as borderline unwatchable. And I'll watch bad movies.
Me too. There's very few things I've ever walked out of or turned off in my life. Secret Invasion, I may finish it. Maybe. Probably not. But I find that the last 6 Marvel releases have been borderline unwatchable. Borderline.
Well, no, because the 6 would include Spider-Man.
I'm also including
No Way Home.
Yeah, that's true. That was not unwatchable. That was phenomenal.
fucking
I mean,
awesome.
they should have just stopped there. Like, we're done. That's
No,
it. We're
you
done.
can't. You can't.
We're done.
We got to continue.
It'll
How the
never
hell-
be better than it was better than the first Avengers.
Yeah, but how are you? Of course. How are you? Need to see what happens to Peter now. Like I can't. You can't end it on that. You can't make him a tragic character
course
like
you
that.
can.
I'm leaving.
What do you mean?
I can't. He's the
Hold on,
best.
hold on.
Peter
Wait,
Parker.
stop. We're dipping into. We may spoil the end of a movie right now.
Okay, yeah, you're absolutely
So,
right. Yeah.
but to me, the ending of that film, the way it ends, is the perfect. If you know the Spider-Man lore, you know the Spider-Man mythos, you're familiar with all these years of Spider-Man stories. That's a great ending. You just go,
You heartless fuck.
and your mind can fill in the blanks.
You heartless fuck.
He's on a new adventure.
You heartless fuck.
Maybe I am a heartless fuck, but like the other guys, for example. Remember the other guys?
Yeah.
Will Ferrell and Wahlberg. Is that the other guys?
Listen to me. I cannot watch that movie without hysterically.
It is
borderline
one of
pissing
the
my pants.
worst movies I have ever seen in my entire life.
I will laugh throughout that entire movie.
I got up and I walked out. It's
So-
the only time I've ever done that in my life.
So listen to me.
Only time.
It's really funny you mentioned that.
I sat through Cosmopolis.
Hold on.
With an awkward erection. And I sat there and I was like, I'm here for it. He's getting a prostate exam. Okay.
Okay, hold on. On this train of thought.
Yeah.
Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Talladega Nights?
Forgettable. I barely remember watching it.
How did you feel?
I also am not a big Will Ferrell fan.
How did you feel about Step Brothers?
Step Brothers is endearing,
Endearing,
but forgettable for me.
okay. Now, if I'm asking you
I hate
honestly,
stupid comedies.
if I'm asking you honestly, when's the last time you saw the three films we just spoke about? Other Guys, Step Brothers, and Talladega Nights.
So other guys, theatrical release, and I walked out, and I'm
Okay.
never doing it again. Talladega Nights, maybe 7 years ago, 6. Step Brothers, I don't remember the last time I saw it.
So you're about 37 now?
Yeah,
Okay.
watch it now.
Watch all three of them now. Listen to me. I challenge you on this podcast.
I'm sure I'll laugh.
No, not to laugh like a lot more than you should. It's hilarious because those movies seem targeted for, teenage boys or anything like that. Like I saw Talladega Nights in theaters and I might have had a chuckle or two. I saw it later in life. It is like now a yearly watch where I need to I just want to.
But I understand what you're saying, and I feel like Walk Hard is in that same category.
Nah, yeah, I don't know.
But I loved Walk Hard.
But
I'm a Johnny Cash fan.
yeah.
So, maybe that's why. But yeah, I see I understand what you're
We're
saying.
talking about these irreverent comedies. They stand above right now at this age. I think they're funnier. And the case in point is one that I know you've seen in the last couple of years, and for sure you've laughed way more than you should have. You Don't Mess with the Zohan.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Oh, wow, okay.
But look, I'm a self-loathing Adam Sandler fan. Like, I hate that he amuses me. It bothers me.
So I won't self-loathe. I'm going to say it right here, and I want you to punch in on this. I love Adam Sandler. Good for you, man. Everybody shitting on him for nepotism and just making movies with his friends in Hollywood.
That I have no issue with. I have no issue with that. It's
Do
just
it.
that, Blended, which is a movie I watch way too often.
Amazing.
Because
Same,
my wife
same.
loves it.
I
She
love
loves
Blended. I love Blended.
It's so good.
Shout out Terry Crews on Blended right now.
Terry Crews is phenomenal in that movie. And the other guy, I don't know the actor's name. He plays the manager of the hotel.
He keeps coming.
Like, Mr. Snaffalafagis.
Theotopoulos.
Theopopoulos. Oh, so many Theopopoli.
Amazing.
Yeah, that to me is Adam Sandler at his best and worst in terms of an Adam Sandler film.
No, it's not.
It's not
Come
Happy
on.
Madison. You know what I mean?
It is Happy Madison. For you thinking about Happy, you're talking about the Happy Madison Company here.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
not Happy Madison.
It is, of course. Listen, that
Is
one
it?
sits. Yeah, because you have categories of Happy Madison films. All right, you got.
Wait, did you assume I mixed up two movies?
No, yeah, for half a hot second.
Yeah, so did I after you asked. I was like, wait, what?
But these subcategories is you have Adam Sandler is your hapless, potentially.
Good-hearted.
No. I'm talking about some kind of mental. It's always.
Oh, he may be on the spectrum.
Yeah. So
I don't get that in this one.
You'll get Madison. You'll get Billy Madison.
He has ASD.
Hubie Halloween. You'll get the Water
Double
Boy.
ASD.
Yeah.
It's all. He just makes movies about kids with the ASD.
But I'm saying that's a subgenre of the Happy Madison films. Then you have it's its own thing. Your Happy Madison Drew Barrymore rom-coms.
50 First Dates.
Wedding Singer.
Wedding
and Blended.
Singer.
You got
Wedding
your
Singer is a
trilogy.
good movie.
But all three of them, I challenge you, are good-hearted movies.
Which is the one where he gets the nose job?
Where he gets
With
the
Jennifer
nose job?
Aniston.
That's Just Go With It, which is another.
That's an okay movie.
Yeah, also, you see what I'm saying?
But it's always the same movie,
But that's
right?
what I mean. But it doesn't matter because it's
Here's the
reliable.
point. It's reliable and I'll enjoy it, but I hate myself a little. That's what I'm saying. I'll watch it and I'll laugh and I'll be like, yeah, let's do it.
Look,
but
our
I'm upset
audience,
with myself.
Our audience and just every audience is comprised of, there's your chicken soup people, your tomato soup people that go to, some of them might be chili, that go to, I just need this.
I don't know
today,
if he's
I've had
my
a rough
go-to,
day.
but yeah.
But no. What I'm trying to say is that Adam Sandler movies for me and for a lot of people are that like,
I just want to feel good.
Day,
Yeah.
or whatever it is, a rough week. I just want to put on an Adam Sandler film and enjoy my time. And that is, it makes him an unsung hero in my book.
Okay.
And then every once in a while, he'll give us like a Punch Drunk Love and an Uncut Gems, and he's a fucking incredible dramatic actor.
Which is so weird to say that. Like growing up watching Adam Sandler movies, to say that he made Uncut Gems, like he was in that.
Fucking awesome.
It is awesome.
To see him do that.
But look, I have no disrespect to Adam Sandler. It's just part of me feels like it's pupu caca humor a lot of times, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I shouldn't be laughing at this. Like I'm a grown ass man. I shouldn't find this funny, but I am. Yeah.
At it.
But again, no disrespect to Sandler. And the nepotism thing, fucking good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Nepotism. He just made a movie with
All his
movie
kids.
with his kids.
So you told me about that, and I mentioned it to my wife, and I was like, Peter said he loved this, and she goes, I watched it. It was crap.
Oh, really?
I was like, really?
Interesting. My wife wanted to watch, so the film is called You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, she really enjoyed it. I thought it was, again, objectively a good-hearted movie.
I can't speak to the film. I didn't see it, but like I was curious. Because she watches some trash. Like
And she didn't like it.
I catch her watching things. I'm like, what are you doing?
Is this your same wife who didn't like Midnight Mass?
Yes.
The opinions.
But Midnight
erroneous.
Mass, I didn't expect her to like.
The opinions erroneous.
I was a little upset with her at the end. I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, and she got into it. I'm like, you don't understand anything.
Yeah.
It's about life. And I was
Hannah, for shame.
But yeah, normally these types of films, I mean, the Adam Sandler-esque and extendable universe. I mean, she's there for it. She was like, it was fine. Like I wasn't.
Well, look, it's not by any means like a
She didn't enjoy it. She
I'm
didn't
not
enjoy
going to
it. But
remember it.
I didn't see it, so I can't tell you what's wrong with it. But like, I mean, I catch her watching Hallmark movies. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh no, see, I can't.
I love to sit when she watch, especially when Christmas starts rolling around, right? She'll just sit and watch fucking Christmas movies, and I love to sit down and just trash them. I was like, that's believable.
Okay,
Sure.
Okay, listen, I'm
know,
going to do
I
you a
love to
favor.
do that.
We're going to pin this here because I want it to come back right around Christmas. I'm going to give you a film to watch that will feel... No, there's no chance you've ever seen it.
Tell me.
It's called Christmas with the Campbells. I think something like that. Listen, and it sounds familiar because they all do, right? Listen
No.
to me. I promise
Who's
you.
in
Never.
this?
Justin Long, Brittany Snow.
Fuck, I've seen this. It's solid. It's one of the accidentally greatest Christmas movies ever made.
Yeah, because you're watching the film.
Wait, who's the dad in that movie? Oh God, I gotta check.
Hold on.
Now I'm not even sure if we're talking about the same movie, guys. But I'll try not to do this too often on the show, where I stop to IMDb something, because that's why I brought you on, so I don't have to search for shit.
Now,
If it was me googling stuff, I would just do it by myself.
So it's George Wendt from Cheers.
That's right. Yes.
Okay. This is like an accidentally hysterical
Yeah.
film that I only watched, even though it looks and
Let's
shot
save
like
this for Christmas, though.
yeah.
We'll get. I mean, we're only a few weeks out here.
You're right. Yeah.
This is not shot live. But my point is, like, she can watch that, but then we'll watch Midnight Mass. She's like, what a waste of time. I'm like, what?
That's a waste of time.
And her explanation was to me that the Christmas movies make me feel nice.
Okay.
This gives me existential dread. I was like, but you need that to feel alive.
You
And
need,
she's like, eh.
You need to balance that. Yeah. I can't watch.
Some people don't want to think about their
my
own
wife.
demise.
My wife either. My wife will only prefers to watch things that make her happy.
Sometimes I want to watch something that's going to leave me fucked up.
Yeah. I love
Like,
that.
I haven't
seek that
seen,
out.
and you're going to get mad, but because I haven't been able to convince her to watch it with me, and I don't want to watch it alone, but I've decided I'm going to do it this week.
Okay.
I haven't seen Dunkirk.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so here's another movie that you're going to get mad about. I have it. I bought it. I paid for it. It's been sitting there, and I still haven't watched it.
nervous.
Because I really want her to watch it with me, because I think she'll love it, but she won't do it. And I will give you a hint. He should have won an Oscar for it. Or did he win an Oscar for it? I don't remember now.
Well, tell me the movie.
The Revenant.
Oh, he did win an Oscar.
He did. Yeah. Sorry, I mixed up. What was the film right before The Revenant that he did?
DiCaprio did.
It was Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah. So which I've seen is phenomenal. Yeah, obviously.
Wolf of Wall Street.
But The Revenant, I haven't seen. I've avoided every major plot point. Like I know the story more or less, but because it's based on a true story, right? Like loosely.
It's a good movie.
I know it's a good movie, but I want her to watch it with me, but she won't because she's like, it's old. I'm like, it's not old. That's another thing. If it's over 5 years old, it's off my docket. I gotta watch it on my own.
Are we married to the same person?
No, we're not. That'd be weird. They might be married to the same
person. My wife says the same thing.
Yeah, it's like, no, I want a new release. I'm like, but the new release is bad. Let's watch.
Yeah, but it's like you haven't seen this.
Like the other night, we were gonna watch TV, and I wanted to watch something while I waited. She was like putting the kids to bed, whatever. I watched the first 30 minutes of Judge Dredd.
The original Judge Dredd?
Yeah, of course.
Oh man,
it's great. She's like, turn this shit off.
I never break the law. I am the law. Love that.
The 90s was great.
Rob Schneider. You didn't get to it because you only did the first 30 minutes.
Did a bit. I don't remember.
Rob Schneider is the de facto sidekick in Judge Dredd.
Yes, I'm getting like flashes of it. Yeah. You know, this is a random segue. You're gonna be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Right, you know what movie I've only ever seen once? I barely remember it. I just remember laughing so hard it hurt because I think I was high.
Okay.
And I watched it on a Voyageur bus on the way up north. Okay.
Okay.
The fucking Pest
with John Leguizamo. Dude. The Pest with John Leguizamo.
I have no memory of the film itself. I only have memories of how I felt watching it. I don't. You could. Gun to my head, I could not tell you what the plot of The Pest was.
Same.
I just remember it was phenomenal.
I feel the.
And when I close my eyes to picture John Leguizamo as the Pest, for some reason he's dressed as Ace Ventura.
Yeah. It was just because
Was he?
No.
He had the Hawaiian shirt.
He has something.
He did.
Like that.
It's just Ace Ventura. It's somehow I've combined the two.
So because that was at the time when, like, I don't know, cable or whatever you want to call it, it was playing all the time.
Was it? I never saw it again.
I loved that movie. Now,
what was the fucking premise of that movie?
I couldn't tell you. It doesn't matter. I will. You know what? I will seek it out.
That's fine.
I will try to watch The Pest.
Best that I don't know.
In the next
I don't
10
want
episodes, I will rewatch The Pest. Now,
I think it's better that I don't know. Just don't ruin it for me.
Fair enough. I won't. Did you know that John Leguizamo did like one-man shows, like almost like stand-up?
Yeah,
comedy
I'm aware. Yeah.
And right around the time that The Pest was released, he did one that talked about growing up like Puerto Rican in, I think it was Washington Heights at the time.
Sure.
And I have the same kind of memories about that, like it being hysterical.
I don't remember. I've never seen it. I'm aware of it. Like I've seen clips, but I've never watched the whole thing.
He's super, super underrated as well.
John Leguizamo.
Yeah. Man.
You know who's more underrated? I don't know if he is underrated. Luis Guzman.
No, Luis Guzman is a national treasure.
Okay. I don't think most people feel that way about him.
Fuck those people. I said it.
Luis Guzman is, first of all, given his obvious like appearance, it's incredible that he's gotten leading roles in Hollywood. Like, no disrespect to Luis Guzman, but he's not like he's not a.
I'm hoping
a stereotypically handsome man.
No, I know.
Right?
I'm hoping
he's not ripped. He's not.
Could you throw a picture of him here at some point?
I don't want to do that with this show.
No. Okay. No. So Google Luis Guzman. The vast majority of you are going to be like, this guy.
Oh, see, in my head, I assume everyone knows who Luis Guzman is, right? Because he's fucking Luis Guzman.
We should do an entire episode highlighting B, C, and D level actors.
You know who's another great underrated?
Now.
Everyone's gonna know his face. What'd you say?
I said we should do an episode where we just highlight these amazingly underrated.
There's so many, B or C actors that you don't know their names, but you see them, and you're like, this guy. Exactly. Like who were we talking about yesterday? The guy who played Dorian in The Mask.
Peter Green.
Oh, fucking the villain of my childhood nightmares. Philip Baker Hall.
Yeah.
The Bookman.
Yeah,
Bookman on Seinfeld, right? Here's another one. Luis Guzman.
William Fichtner, if I'm saying it right.
Fichtner or Fitchner? We don't know.
Awesome guy.
That guy. Bill Fick. John Pellegrino.
Mark Pellegrino.
John Pellegrino. I know John Pellegrino.
I know nice Natasha Pellegrino.
No, Mark Pellegrino, known for such roles as, and I don't want to go straight to Supernatural, but
he means the show Supernatural.
He's never done anything.
He's done some.
He was Lucifer on Supernatural for like 12 seasons.
He's done some other stuff.
Yeah, he's great. Robert Picardo.
Oh man,
Gremlins, the bad guy in
Oh,
Gremlins.
my God,
the doctor
yes.
on Star Trek Voyager.
yes, and
Robert Picardo.
Remember we were talking about Red on that '70s show
Being the bad guy in
He was the
RoboCop.
bad guy in RoboCop.
But in reality, it turns out. Why did our camera turn off? Is the red light still on?
Red light's still on.
Okay, the monitor died. Sorry, guys, about that. Everything just went black and I panicked. What was I saying? Yeah, Red was the villain in RoboCop, but it turns out I'm not gonna make that joke now. It was such great timing, and the camera turned off.
yeah.
It. I was gonna say it turns out that the bad guy was Danny. It's not as funny now. The camera died. Remind me next episode to plug in the monitor.
Absolutely,
Might be useful.
probably, yeah.
It's good to know if the camera's on, guys. That's all. Considering it's also recording audio. But how do we get down this?
I don't know, man.
Is this what the show is? It's just
think,
us. It's like a phone call.
Yeah,
This is, by the way, this is not like. So I want to talk about this show for a sec, just for a
go ahead,
second.
yeah.
This show was born of the fact that Monday, which is my slowest day normally, where I do a lot of office work and prep for the week and shoots and whatever. And you're on the road a lot in the mornings on Monday. Peter will call me and we'll spend like an hour and a half on the phone where we do this. He'll bring up something that he saw. It'll trigger some memory of something I can't properly remember, which he knows because he remembers. And then we just do this for like an hour and a half. And then he's like, oh, bro, I'm 2 minutes late for a meeting. Bye.
Yeah.
And he hangs up.
Or hold on, Anna's calling. Or the
Oh,
kids.
yeah. I got a client calling me or something happens,
But it's,
you know?
I'll call him with a specific thought in mind, and we will, I'll be excited to tell him about that.
But my thoughts are non-specific.
And that's the thing is we'll only spend about 30 seconds on that topic before we spiral out.
That sounds right.
And then it's seriously every tangent will have its own set of tangents.
Oh, it's
which
like
will have their own sets of tangents.
It's like a language tree. You know how they break down into like, what are they called? Sprachbunds. Just like
it's a made-up word.
It is not a made-up word. I'll look it up right now. Sprachbund. I believe it's German. I'm looking
When you say
it
it
up
like
right
that,
now.
I would hope so.
Sprachbund.
And so we decided, you know what? We might as well do this on camera. So
A Sprachbund, or I don't know how it's pronounced. I don't speak the language of the invaders. Also known as a linguistic area of a linguistic convergence or a diffusion area,
okay.
such as, for example, the Balkan Sprachbund. Thank you. You've learned stuff about linguistics today.
Pride cometh before the fall, Phil.
No, that was in June. Pride is in June. Yeah. Okay, what else? What's going on in this? Should we talk about the writer's strike? We've never really addressed it on this show.
I mean, it's a fucking bummer. I mean, I get it. I want to start by saying I support the writers and I support the actors. And
I have some very weird and unpopular feelings about the writer's strike because
do
in
tell.
its simplest, most distilled retelling of what's happening, I agree with them. They shouldn't be paid peanuts so that a studio can own their digital likeness. Yeah, I agree with that. We were always getting here. We got here a lot faster than I thought we would, mostly because the technology has really taken off in the last couple of years due to the pandemic mostly. But like just that one thing, yeah, I agree with them. But like at the same time, billionaire actors picketing, saying we don't work for free. I mean,
well, that's not what's happening.
Hilarity
No.
ensues.
That's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. You know what?
Well,
I wouldn't feel
look, it's
comfortable. I wouldn't feel comfortable speaking about the writer's strike until we actually had maybe a guest who's an actor or a writer, so they can give us their.
I mean, I'm not a member of any. I'm not a member of the DGC
I'm not a member
anymore.
of any guild
I'm not a member of Axis. I'm not a member of the Writers Union. Like, I can't speak for them. But as someone who is in the indie side of things, who doesn't work with unions often, but when I do, it completely destroys my projects.
Sure.
I mean, it's a weird feeling that I have. Like, I get why the union needs to be there. But at the same time, it's like, it's a weird...
I used to feel like that.
I still feel that way.
I don't feel like that anymore because
you're not producing regularly.
Well, it's not only that. It's the idea that I got to know a lot of them, and they've educated me as to why these guilds are important. And so I'm able
them
to,
being who? Actors?
Yeah, actors.
Actors and writers.
Actors, and I can't speak to writers like that because I don't know.
Well, I mean, the Writers Guild is not a union. It's a guild. It's not the same exactly.
Sure, but I mean, they've still gone on strike for their...
Yes,
think about
guild
it. Put yourself-
members, yeah.
You've written, imagine that you'd be a part of something, and that's it. You wouldn't get paid if they found little loopholes. You were telling me about some Nickelodeon loophole.
I mean, it
yesterday
happens.
that you
Yes,
lost
it
your mind
absolutely
with.
happens. But that's really, look, like I said, I get why they exist. But look, man, what is it? 1% of working actors are rich. 1%, 2%, right? The rest are just working, trudging along, doing roles, doing voice work.
Yeah, you're talking about a star. Or
Like the stars, I understand that them adding, like joining the picket lines puts a light on it. But at the same time, it's like, hey, you're not in the same situation as the rest of these people.
Doesn't matter. They were once. And
Were
the idea-
they?
Yeah.
I
and the
mean, yeah,
idea-
they were. I get.
They were once.
It's just-
Even someone like Brad Pitt. I can
It's the
point to you
dichotomy
these-
of the optics of it. to
Yeah,
me.
the optics is one.
The optics is
But
weird.
here, I'll give you numbers because I read a report.
But the studios are fucking them.
No, but look at this.
100%.
So I can only speak to this report, which spoke specifically about Warner Brothers as a studio. Warner Brothers, by meeting the demands initially, were set to lose, I've heard, as little as 25, 30 million,
nothing.
as high as 70, 75
Still
million.
nothing for Warner Brothers.
So far, to date, this strike has cost them close to 300 million.
That sounds about right.
So what you're looking at is, and then you have people like David Zaslav, which I could spend an entire podcast episode talking about this absolute garbage monster of a human being, in my opinion, who is the current CEO of Warner's Discovery. But yeah, he's like, I will do anything I can do to help, end this as soon as possible. I'm like,
Except meet demand.
you just cost your studio.
Like it's the nose spiting itself.
Yeah,
by
it's
the face, right?
Insane.
That's the expression.
Insane.
Look, I remember when was the writer's strike a couple years back, right before COVID, right?
No, it was like,
It's been like 8 years.
was it like 20?
COVID time confuses me, right? Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
throws my internal.
Post and pre and post pandemic. It was definitely
So like now we're what?
years
It's
before the
the
pandemic.
year now is 3 after the COVID pandemic. ACP, right?
Well,
We're in the year 3 ACP now.
Are we? Because does the pandemic just encompass 2020? Because then we'd only be 2 ACP, right?
But then there'd be 2 years that count as 0. I mean,
We're
we're
not-
not
this-
going to get
I'm
into
not doing this,
historiography right now. I think we're going to call it for the day because we both have other things to do. Not better things to do, but things we have to do, unfortunately. I want to keep talking about the writer's strike, but I don't know enough details. I'm going to do some reading,
Do some reading.
and maybe we'll just stick to movies for now.
I like it.
We don't want to be mouthpieces. That's it. That was the whole thought. My name is Phil Balabanos.
I'm Peter James.
Thank you for joining us on yet another episode of 24 Frames Per Second, and we will see you next week. Subscribe. Join us on the Instagram. We'll post clips, because if you don't like long form, I mean, what are you doing with your life? You should be listening to long form. Watch the long form. But if you don't, I mean, go see the clips, right?
Yeah, okay. I don't want to tell him what to do.
What he says.